First on the show, let's start with a big youth issue that most political parties stayed away from. Article 377 and the promise to decriminalize adult consensual gay sex. I have with me human rights lawyer Sashi Bhushan and a member of the transgender community, Abina. Thanks so much for joining us. Now, Sashi, I want to start with you. Tell me, were you a little disappointed that a political party, let's say like the AAP, that had made a big deal out of the Supreme Court verdict, and when its manifesto comes out, it decides to keep quiet on that. Was that a little disappointing for you?
Well, this is not the first time that we have been disappointed by the political parties. It's an order of the day, I think. And elections were the time when we were hoping, yes, okay, means this is the time when they can try to allure and entice this section of the society, which they are not doing again. So definitely a little bit of disappointment.
Yeah. I mean, do you feel that this is a kind of an issue that has to be strongly put by any political party that wants to really stand by you and show support to members of the LGBTQ community? Do you feel that?
I absolutely feel. You know what, this is interesting part, because within the political parties, if you look at it, there's a difference of opinion. You can see, and what plays role over there is your personal homophobia, your personal transphobia against it. Parties like Congress, they have come forward and have talked about Section 377 quite openly, where you have a centralized party. Correct. You know, the topmost people decides, and then people will follow up irrespective of whatever you're deciding. But people like, parties like AAP, where people have their own opinions, you will see that in Mumbai, when you have a meeting, lot of meetings with them, they are saying that, okay, this is very important, we have to be talking about that. At the national level, it is still not sunk in.
Right.
At the national level, they are not still been able to understand the universe of LGBT community, which is a potential vote bankers, and they're looking forward for a daring party who will stand up and say enough is enough.
Yeah. We were also talking about the fact that this is a big election issue for the youth, and not just the people of the LGBT community. In fact, a major section of the youth, the first-time voter in India, wants this issue to be addressed.
It's very interesting. You should know about that. After Delhi High Court judgment, majority of youngsters came out to their family members. Majority of youngsters came out to their friends that we have a different sexual orientations and we need to be accepted by you. And people came forward and said that, it's fine. It's fine whatever you are, as far as you are making these choices for yourself, and you should be happy about it. And I think that made a lot of change. After another decision about Supreme Court on Section 377, people were not sure, am I supposed to get arrested? What is going to happen to me? So everybody was really concerned about it, especially these youngsters. 5 years before, or 2 years before, 3 years before, I never thought of me being involved in the political parties. Now I feel like that. Now I feel that I should be president. I should be Prime Minister of India given a choice. But I mean, that change has occurred because the youth blood is coming forward and saying that is, no, we want to be the decision maker. We are not going to be any more just a vote bank for you. You are not going to lure us with your false vote. If you want to work for our country, then you should have strong promises that you are going to fulfill about it, and people don't want to compromise about it.
That's something for the political parties to actually think about. Sashi, you're gay yourself, and you're openly gay.
I am.
Did you feel, and you're in a position where you're helping other people, did you feel a change in attitudes of people around after the decriminalization and then the subsequent criminalization? Did you feel that there was
I was always confident to tell people, but again, even if I was confident, there was a kind of fear that, okay, whatever I'm doing, my behavior and my orientation, it's still a crime as per IPC says, as per Section 377 says. And on the other hand, if I say after this judgment, yes, it gave me kind of a confidence that now I am like a kind of an honorable citizen of India who has got the right of equality. He cannot be misbehaved, maltreated, or any kind of humiliation. So yes, means definitely it came. But again, when this judgment of the Supreme Court, again when it was criminalized, it was always for me one step forward, 2 steps back, and which is sad now. And I feel confident even now, but again, I am a criminal. So what can I do?
There's this very recent Supreme Court judgment that recognizes the third gender. And it's a thumbs up. It's great that, you know, yeah, there's a bit of good news that's coming. But I feel that there's a certain sense of contradiction. On the one hand, you're saying that there is a third gender that very much exists and has a right to equality in every sense of the word. And yet when it comes to sexuality and sexual orientation and just the act, it says that that's illegal, unnatural, that cannot happen.
Yeah, we just got a recognition as a third gender, but our sexual behavior is still criminalized.
Yeah, which is a strange part.
Some of the religious people, they say, oh, we accept them as a part of the society. They are, their gender is different and their sexual identity is okay, but they cannot have sex because it's unnatural. My God, how could you say that? These two things are contradictory.
Do you feel that it's the mentality that has to change, and that has to come from, you know, the leaders of our country, you know, opening their minds?
It's just not about mentality, it is about the awareness about the law, okay? People have to understand that Section 377 not only affects the heterosexual, homosexual community, but also heterosexual community, because it gives you a right to get inside your bedrooms and see what you are doing. So even if I'm having any sort of sexual activity which is not leading towards a procreation of a child, is illegal. Is illegal. Do you understand what I'm trying to say to you? Is that any sort of activity? And can you say that heterosexual people don't do any sort of activities just beyond procreation? So first of all, awareness is one thing people has to understand. Second concern about is that people have this notion about that, you know, if you give this right, people will start having sex on the, you know, in a public.
Drop of a hat.
It's not going to happen. We are also human beings. The same sexual drive that you probably will have, the similar kind of sexual drive we have. The other thing about is that people have these notions about, you know, if you give right to people, then everybody will become gay. That's not true.
What needs to change? There has to be a change in mentality that is leading to starting from sniggering, humiliating, to later on molesting. And perhaps a strong political stand at this stage would help the people of the LGBT community. That's all we have from the chat. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.